Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, on our calculation, in the Tory party, there are 185 MPs who voted Remain and 138 who voted Leave. So Remain majority. Park that thought as we dissect the day with our panel. Times columnist Matthew Parris, Brexit-supporting radio presenter Ian Dale, again, always on the programme, and Rachel Shabby, a Labour-supporting columnist at The Guardian.
Why do I get called Brexit supporting and these
because,
two
well,
you don't describe this
no,
as Remain?
but you're quite right.
I mean,
should have.
come on.
No, it's just because you are a Brexit supporter, and I want to get from you.
It's always one against two, isn't it?
No, has she survived today, Ian?
Well, she's clearly survived today. She's still in office.
I mean, but is she coming through this stronger or weaker? She hasn't.
I don't see how you can come through a day like today stronger when you lose two of your top four cabinet ministers.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Well, you can say that. And if she's still Prime Minister at the end of this parliamentary session at the end of July, she survived yet again, and she does have that resilience. We've seen it I think every time, Matthew, you and I are on the programme, we talk about her resilience, her bounce-back ability. So I don't write her off at all, but, I mean, surely no one can say it's been a good day for her.
Right, Matthew?
I think if she sticks to her guns, she will end up stronger. If she sticks to her guns, if she doesn't water down what was agreed at Chequers last week, if she shows that she's prepared simply to shrug her shoulders if people don't want to be part of that, I think she could end stronger. It's very much up to her, and we don't know yet.
Rachel, you could just sit this one out, actually, couldn't you? You could sort of let them argue it through.
I could just chortle from the sidelines, couldn't I, at the chaos.
Here's the goal, kick the ball.
Except that, of course, their chaos is, you know, they're doing it on our time, aren't they? Because they're in government. So their chaos is our chaos, and that's the problem.
The really interesting thing, Rachel, is Labour do have a big role here, because if they support Theresa May's softer version of Brexit, it will clearly carry. If Labour don't, then she may be in quite a pickle. What would you tell Labour to do?
There's a lot of ifs in that sentence, first of all, so that makes it quite difficult to answer. Look, the problem with Theresa May's soft Brexit is that it isn't a soft Brexit at all. And that's before we've even got to the question of how the EU will greet it. So, you know, that seems to make the question almost redundant. You know, there are so many hurdles that it has to cross. And that is precisely the problem, by the way, with her leadership, that it isn't just that her party is so irreconcilably split over Brexit, and for decades long, this Europe split.
Forever.
They cannot deal with it. It's tearing them apart, and it's tearing us apart. But it's not just that. It's her bad leadership. She should never have set herself those red lines in the first place. She is a hostage to her own bad leadership.
But look, I really want to push you, Rachel.
As much as she is a hostage to the hard leaders.
I just want to.
I'm not attacking her. I'm giving you analysis.
Do you think Labour should vote for a bad deal in order to ensure there is a deal? Or do you think Labour should basically sort of sit out a vote or vote against a bad deal, even though no deal would be the consequence?
I don't even want to get into that kind of conjecture.
Okay.
I don't even know what that sentence means.
No, look, I'll tell
Are you
why
asking
I'm
me if
asking
no
this.
deal is better than a bad deal? Are we there again?
I'll tell you what I'm getting at is, are we in a world where potentially there is no majority in the House of Commons for anything at all?
Yes, exactly.
We are.
And if we are in that world, are we not then going to slide unwittingly into a no-deal scenario, potentially?
What we risk doing now is sliding into a situation where Article 50 is extended and the Prime Minister goes to the EU at some point over the next 6 months and say, well, I haven't got majority for anything, can we please delay the March the 29th date? Now, that would cause even more splits and ructions in the Tory party, but I can perfectly see that happening. Well, I knew you'd say that. I knew I was playing into your hands there, Matthew.
No, I think that's a possible, even a likely course of action. The trouble is that both sides in my party, the Conservative Party, each has a fatal weakness. The fatal weakness of the hardline Brexiteers is that there is no majority in the Conservative Party, in the Labour Party, in Parliament or in the country for a hard Brexit. The weakness of the Remainers, or the former Remainers, is that a Brexit in name only, where we're rule takers but not rule makers, cannot by any stretch of the imagination be better than just staying in the European Union.
Yeah, well, I
so
would
both
agree with
sides are
But that's the
faithfully
trouble
weak.
with Brexit, isn't it?
Yes.
That we're going to, if we are going to do it, and we can argue that we have a democratic responsibility to do it, we're going to end up with this awful thing that pleases nobody, but gets a consensus and makes us worse off than we are currently. That's precisely the problem with Brexit, right there.
It is a terrible thing that we have consensus on this panel, which is not what you want,
No,
Evan.
no, I think it's really, but I think that is a very interesting
look,
place for parliamentary democracy to be.
I mean, I still slightly recoil from the phrase hard Brexit, soft Brexit, because I mean, Brexit just means leaving the European Union and its institutions unless you negotiate to stay in some
Ian,
of them.
can the Conservative, Ian and Matthew, this is for these two because they're the
I'll just
Tory
laugh
supporters.
from the sidelines, yeah.
Can the Conservative Party survive this? I mean, honestly, it's just so riven.
Matthew and I are old enough to know that even in our lifetimes, the Conservative Party has been written off a couple of times. You can go back to, as Jacob Rees-Mogg did, to the Corn Laws. And yes, the party was out of power for a couple of generations then. I can remember thinking, people analysing the major government and saying, well, the Tories will never win again after 1997. Well, they did in 2010. So nothing is forever. And
somebody's got to win this one, or I think the Conservative Party could destroy itself.
As
we
opposed
do
to
need.
what they're doing right now.
Well, it is what we, the Conservatives, are doing at the moment, and it cannot carry on like this, and the Conservative Party could destroy itself. Somebody has got to crack the whip.
And then the party becomes the
yes,
party of that person.
And someone has to lose. And my problem with the hardliners, the crazies on Europe, is that
they're not crazies. They just happen
I think
to believe
they are.
in something very much.
It's not a political belief. It's a faith-based thing. And you see something go funny in their eyes when you start talking about Europe. And there is no arguing with these people. They are a minority of the Conservative Party, and they're bringing all of us down, including the country.
And I'm afraid we have to leave it there, because I just want to throw back, that's it for the studio this evening, but I do want to just throw back to Emily on the front line of the ground battle over there in Westminster. Emily.
Evan, thanks very much. As Matthew was saying, the Conservatives tonight may be doing an awful lot of naked navel gazing, but the Goldfish Bowl is made of glass and there is a big international stage out there. This is a huge week for Theresa May, Nick.
That's right, and it kicks off tomorrow with a meeting with Angela Merkel. Now, officially they're talking about the Western Balkans, but it will be a chance for Theresa May to sort of confront Angela Merkel's scepticism about the new British position. She thinks Theresa May is trying to enter the single market through the back door. And I've been speaking to Remain ministers and Brexit ministers, and they're saying maybe, just maybe, the pain that Theresa May is so visibly facing will help her out.
Nick, thanks very much. We will bring you more on that tomorrow, and who knows, perhaps some other stories too.